Okay, YouTubers, this is Joe from ArtAlienTV, another game of Interplanetary I Spy going on here, and we're back to the moon, and particularly this image, which you can get on Flickr here. There will be a link for this below in the description. Now, unfortunately, this is upside down, so you're going to have to download it. You can get various sizes of download, but I advise to get the largest you can fit on your device. This is a very cool image, guys. There's a hell of a lot of stuff in here. One of the most important moon images I think ever taken. This was taken back in 1968 and is from the Project Apollo archive, Apollo Mission 8 and Magazine 12, and it's image 2209 here, okay? So there will be a link for this below, and just a great image, what can I say? Now, of course, I've already covered this image in a previous video, but what I'm doing here is an update because a friend of mine in the US called Mike Zoetmulder has sent me in some extra images done on his 3D rendering program of some of the building structures in this image, okay? So without further ado, I'll quickly show you here. Here we have it. Here's the original video that I did. It's called Moon Tower and City, okay? And you can see this if you want to find it quickly. You can go to my channel and go to my playlists here, and it should be up there at the top here. Moon buildings, alien megastructures, top 15. Okay, it should be the first video in that playlist, but there will be a link at the end of this video to link you to this, and also this video as well. So you can click on them right at the end of the video. Okay, so without further ado, let's crack on with it. I've got it up in a folder here. Now what I've got to show you is basically the same images as before, as in that video, but I'm going to do some more enhancements quickly. Let's find the folder. Right, here we go. And there's basically this area here. Now, here's the overall clip of the image. And here's that tower that's in the video here. You can see that tower. And there's loads of buildings over here, okay? Lots and lots of buildings here. You can see a building here, just here, and that tower there leaning over slightly. Now, of course, I haven't tilted the image, so this tower would probably be straight up if I rotated the image. But the area we're looking at today, mainly, is this very bright spot here. And we have some very unusual looking structures. We have this very strange thing here, okay, sticking up. And we have a huge kind of block here. Now, they're a little bit vague. I do appreciate that. A bit hard to see. But there are multiple structures in here. All you have to do is enhance the image. Okay? Here's a clip. I'm going to run through these very quickly, because I'll put them in at the end of the video again anyway. And quickly run through the enhancements. Here's the raw clip. Okay? Now, I've really gone in hard with the contrast here. Now you can see this thing sticking up. Okay? Very unusual cross-shaped structure here. Caught my eye immediately when I was doing the original video. But there's also multiple structures in here, okay? Like a base structure with uprights and possible pipes and all sorts of interesting shapes. And there's a huge rectangular block-like structure here, okay? So keep your eye on that as I go through the enhancements, and you can start to see some of these things come out. I've added more and more contrast and highlighted parts. Okay, blue filter, brighter, okay. I'm not going to spend too long on this because I will put them in at the end, and I'll try and bring them out even more. Here's one with a brown filter. That looks pretty horrible. This is a bit of a closer look. Okay. And again. Now, this is I'm going to show you this actually in here because this has got better resolution. This is the main image we're going to be looking at, okay? Now, I've brightened this a bit more already just to make it really stand out. And you can see that this is an intelligent structure, not a natural structure. We have a large block-like structure here with detail. It's got some kind of archway here, and it's got this base-like structure to it here. And there's possible pipes and various structures behind it as well. And this big block here, this I mean, this is enormous for it to show. I think this, I actually did speak to Dr. Ken Johnston recently in one of my videos, and he said that these photographs were taken at a height of approximately 65 miles above the surface of the moon in 1968. And he was in the space program at the time, and he was the guy that was training the astronauts to fly various spacecraft. And as a pilot, he was a consultant astronaut pilot, I think his title was. So he was a very interesting chap. So do check that video out where I interviewed him along with some members of UFA who also interviewed him as well. It wasn't just me. I did ask him some quite interesting questions, and he and Brett Collins Shepherd both agreed with me that the moon must have been inhabited at one point, due to the vast number of structures like this, and towers and domes, and the fact that there must have been an atmosphere, a full atmosphere on the moon, and at some point it was inhabited, possibly by our ancestors. I'm talking a very, very long time ago, but it may not have been that far back. It could have only been 12 or 20,000 years ago. We really don't know. And according to the records that we have on Earth, in fact, if you look this up, you'll find that apparently the moon wasn't there, hasn't been there all the time. It's actually been it was kind of put there, or became in that orbit fairly recently in our history. I'm talking about 12,000 years ago or 20,000 years ago, something like that. But that, is a difficult thing to prove, because that's really before written records began on Earth. Here we have the main image, and I've really darkened this up and added contrast to it just to show you stuff, because it really won't show up very well on your mobile device unless you do that. Okay, and here we are. I mean, this is absolutely incredible. There's loads of stuff in here, and it really is an astonishing image. And lots of these are upright structures, and my graphics card's slightly struggling with it now. And I have noticed in here there's what look like some massive upright structures here. Unbelievable. It really is an unbelievable image. And I think this was really before they understood the full gravity of what they were seeing on the moon, which is why a lot of these early Apollo images are not doctored as much as some of the later ones, okay? Because I think they were still coming around to the idea that there was stuff on the moon, and they didn't actually obfuscate a lot of these things because they didn't know they were there, okay? In order to hide something, you must first know it's there, okay? So here we have it, and there's this big block thing behind it. So I'll put some extra clips of this stuff in, because I don't want to take too long on this. And I'll also show you some of the stuff that Mike has done. I'll quickly show you a little bit of that, but I'll put these clips in at the end of the video. He's done some animations of the temple, as he's called it, and I think that's a pretty cool name. It does look a bit like a temple or some kind of crazy massive structure, okay? So he's done these images here. I'll show you some of his still images here, and he's actually textured them. Now this gives you an idea of some of the detail that can be picked out in these images. You can see that archway type thing there, and you've got the base structure coming around here, and you've got this complex set of structures here, which are quite hard to make out in the original image, but they are there, and it's definitely an intelligent structure. There's absolutely I have no doubt about this whatsoever. The question is, what is it? Is it a lunar base? Is it a mining complex? Is it some kind of habitation? Don't know. That is down to opinion and conjecture, but it is definitely an intelligent structure. Here's a different one he's done. This is untextured, just showing the actual shapes of some of these things, and I'll show you how he came to that. Now, you may think this doesn't quite match up, but these structures are here. Okay, you can see this structure here. He's done a very, very clever rendition of it here, and put some great detail in here, and you can see the archway here, okay, with like a little door, it looks like a little door, and you've got a dome here, okay, just here. So it does match up, but it kind of matches up better when you see it from this image, which is I think the one he used. He's taken a screen grab off the video in full HD, and he's got the detail from here. This is where you can see the detail here, okay, this area here. So that gives you a better impression of the real kind of shapes and structures on the ground here, okay? So I won't go on too long now. I will show these animated clips coming up of the 3D rendering and how it's constructed, and I will have some more enhancements of this particular area here, and maybe one or two others, because I've been looking at this image again and I found a few other things, and there are multiple buildings in here. There just isn't enough time for me to go over them all. I mean, at the back of the image, even some of these craters have got huge things sticking up out of them. It's absolutely insane, and no one can tell me that there wasn't some kind of life on the moon. There was, and anyone who's really looked at the moon in detail, and a lot of people are now, will tell you the same. The question is whether there's life there now, which is doubtful, or whether it was many millions of years ago, which is probably more likely, possibly even billions of years ago. In fact, there's no way to tell, and the problem is that NASA know full well that there are structures on the moon, which is why they rarely show better quality images than this, and when they do, they're often doctored heavily. Okay, so do check out my playlist at the end, and I will show you some more clips coming up in a second. And many thanks to Mike Zoetmulder for sending in his work. Yet again, he's done a brilliant job, and animated sequences coming up now.